Welcome to Eating Plebian. Tonight we are making Southwest chicken and rice bowls. This is going to be kind of a fusion of the different things, but I think you'll like it. Let me get onto the ingredient list. Starting off over here on the stovetop for once, I've got 1 can of black beans, 13 ounces roughly. They've been strained, drained, cleaned, and placed in the saucepan, waiting for another component that I will be giving a little bit of a parboil to, just to give it a head start on cooking. You'll see that in just a minute. For the main protein, I have a couple of assorted pieces of chicken. You can do 3 or 4, whatever it is you'd like. You do want to make sure that they are deboned for this particular application. I've got people in my family that just like white meat, so no big deal. Mix and match to your own pleasure. I've got 4 to 6 ounces of thick cut bacon, and I'm going to give myself a little bit of an assist by using a kit rice for the rice bed, and this is cilantro lime rice. Use whatever you'd like. If you want to use just regular white rice or brown rice or wild, perfectly fine. And I've got the water to go with that. From our local market, I did pick up also some pico de gallo. They make some really good stuff. I'm using mild. You can use mild, medium, hot, whatever it is that you'd like. I've got 3 tablespoons of a Southwestern blend spice mix, and I will leave the recipe for this mix down as an addendum to the regular recipe on the website, and you can link through to that if you would like. If not, you can use all sorts of different things. You can put it in directly. It's mainly paprika, cumin, chili powder, garlic and onion salt, and a few other things as well if you want to get adventurous. I also have a little bit of water, a 1/4 cup, that is going to assist me with the seasoning post searing this chicken. I've got 2 cobs worth of corn over here, and that is what is going to be joining the black beans over in the saucepan. It's just going to add a really nice freshness, pop, and sweetness. About 3/4 cup of cheese. That is kind of a Mexican blend cheese. You can get it all over everywhere. You can use Monterey Jack, you can use cheddar, sharp cheddar, whatever it is you like. This is what I happen to have handy. And I've got 1 really nice avocado that I've sliced up and going to be used as both a garnish and kind of an addendum to the plate. And don't mind my drink over there, it's not going into the recipe. All right, as I said, we've got a few things that we need to do real quick. I'm going to add this corn over here, and in with the black beans. I'm going to we really want to have that boil for, I don't know, 8 to 10 minutes. I'm going to cover this with water. Doesn't need to be a whole lot. Again, we just want the thing edible and to get rid of that any of the canned taste on the beans, and just give a little flush, I guess, to the corn. So that's going over there. A little bit further away, I've got my really good skillet, and I'm going to set this onto just a little bit less than medium heat. We're going to warm that up a bit, and we're going to use this bacon, both, as I said, to kind of top the thing off, and also to provide us a little bit of the rendered fat here, which is going to assist us in getting our chicken all sauteed up. I also have my oven set to 375 degrees, and it is warming right now. So what we need to do is get this chicken all seasoned up, and I'm going to reset my camera, be back in just a moment. And another little bit of time travel. You ought to be used to this by now. As I said, I had taken care to debone these thighs, and this one just came deboned from the grocery store. And so I'm going to just give it a basic salt and pepper dusting. We're going to be adding a lot of things with that Southwestern mix that I intimated just a little bit ago. So, you don't have to worry about this being a bland dish by any means. So we've got that. Go to my pepper mill collection, hidden way up top. Give it a dusting. We're going to flip and do this again. I like the skin on mine. There we are. And we're going to give that right there. We don't have to coat it, as you know. At the same time, we want to give it enough that it reacts with the cell membranes of the chicken, and you have that moisture transfer that goes on the inside. So there's that and the pepper. The good skillet is now nice and warm. I'm going to go ahead and apply those slices of bacon in here. I said the B word, and I could hear the dogs react to it. It tells you how we operate in this house. Can I fit in one more? Probably. There's always room for one more piece of bacon. We'll just put that right on the side. And we are going to give this in our totally normal bacon making way and give it a couple of minutes each side. We're going to go ahead and cut away for just a second. And we'll come back to this when we've got enough rendered fat in the bottom and the bacon is cooked. All right, 5 or 6 minutes later, this bacon looks really good. I'm just going to take it off and put it onto a plate and set it aside for the moment. That's assuming I don't dip in and scavenge it for my own eating. And now that I've got the pan is already hot, we've got some really nice bacon grease on the inside. I'm going to set in my chicken. I'm going to put the skin side down to start. For these two thighs that still retain it, put this in the sink. And while these cuts, entertain thoughts of what their future is going to be, I'm actually going to get my rice started. So I'm going to take that water, put that in. I'm going to put in a little bit of salt, probably about a half teaspoon. Again, do your rice in the fashion that you want to do your rice for this dish. Finger stir. Let's get that to boiling. I'm going to set this further over because I'll need this back one here shortly. That's my smallest little simmery burner. We're going to do this for about 5 minutes per side, I think. Our intention here is not to try to cook the chicken all the way through inside of the skillet. We are going to be finishing it off in the oven. That's just a very popular way of doing it with me. And also it's a little bit safer because I can use my thermometer to tell exactly when we are at a safe eating temperature. Meanwhile, this corn and the black beans that are with it, I think we can pull off. So I'm going to kill the heat, find myself a glove because that handle was a little too close to this thing and it's quite warm. I've got a strainer set up over in the sink here. So it is just really ready to go. And put it in the bowl and we'll set that aside. And my strainer goes back in there as well. So we are now awaiting the chicken to get done for the 3 to 5 minutes, and then we'll flip it over, do the same thing for the other side. We are still waiting for the rice to come up, and so I also feel the need in my OCD way to wipe that off, and we'll be right back with you. All right, we've gotten to the point where we've got some nice browning to the outside, and the chicken certainly has a good head start on that sear for the outside. I think this just looks beautiful. So I'm going to get my probe thermometer here, and I'm going to put it in the thickest part of the thickest piece, which will, of course, be this breast. I'm going to stick it in right there. And now it's going into that 375 degree oven. I imagine this is only going to end up taking about 15 minutes. We are already at 103, something like that, 104 now. So that is just going to cook right along. My rice had achieved a boil, so now it's on a low simmer over here on my smallest burner, and we are now on cruise control until that takes place. Back again. According to my little doohickey, we are now at 165 degrees, and so it's time to pull that out of there. Be sure, absolutely sure, to use an oven mitt when you're pulling these things out. I've mentioned it before. It is such a common urge just to grab onto the handle. It's just terrible. Okay, so temporarily, yes, this is a complicated cooking step. I'm going to take temporarily these pieces of chicken, put them on a clean plate, and I am going to drain off the excess here. The excess oil out of the skillet. There we are. I'm going to turn the heat on about medium for the stove, and I am going to change the oven. I'm going to open the door a little bit and change that to broil right on max. Give that just a second to heat back up. And I've got that quarter cup of water over here. And I'm going to use this to deglaze this pan a bit. You could also use white wine if you had it. Possibly even tequila, I don't know. I haven't tried tequila. I wonder if that would work. So there we are. Let's just give this a minute. It won't even take a minute. There, that looks nice. I also don't want this to evaporate because I've got my Southwest seasoning mix. I'm going to put that into the pan. And we're going to get that all hydrated and stirred in. Warm back up, dude. Come on. Let me remove this hot oil away before some tragedy befalls me. That looks good. Now, we are, as I said, at 165 degrees. Our government's way of keeping us safe. And I'm simply going to turn these over once or twice in the pan. Get these all coated up. Okay. That looks great. All right, now we're going to work a little bit fast. I'm going to turn the heat off on that skillet, and I'm going to start adding some bacon. Adding some bacon to these guys. I was able to retain my composure and not steal any off the plate. Yeah, I'm going to put an extra one there. And that's fine. Set that in the sink. So now I have the bacon draped over top of the chicken. I'm going to place some of the pico de gallo on top of that. Yeah, I just touched my arm on that handle. The thing I keep warning everyone not to touch. Good for me, huh? Get a little more going here. Ah, that's better. And now for that cheese. So we are just going to drop a bunch on. This smells amazing. And because I've got the door open for the broiler, my face is melting off. No, but it is warm though. So I'm going to stick this now back in the oven under the broiler, only for about a minute or two. We're going to keep an eye on it. Not going to close it all the way. And I'm going to stage everything else for the rest of the dish composure. The rice looks, according to my watch, or clock on the wall anyway, perfectly done. There we go. The timing was immaculate. I'm going to place these in some bowls off to the side here. Give me just a moment. Figure I'll save myself a little bit of trouble. And set the rice bowl, or the pot that I was using, back into the sink so it can clear. Set these down. I need to check my chicken. It can change that fast. Just another minute there. We are almost there. The cheese is melted, and I want to get it to just a little bit bubbly. Give us just a second. Okay, it should be long enough now on the broiler. It's literally only been about 2 minutes. Oh my. Would you look at that? Beautiful. All right, we're going to compose some plates. All right, I needed to find myself a trivet. I don't like putting the skillet directly, even though it's a quartz countertop. But I'll place that right here. Just make things a little easier on us. And I'm going to go and dig up my tongs. Yeah. Try to get these in here nicely. So there's one. Go for that one. Two. And that big breast. We'll just set that right on top. I'm going to smush these down a little bit. Yes, that handle is still hot. Thank you very much for noticing. Put this back on the stove where it can cool off in relative retirement. Go now for the rice and the black beans. We're going to put these over here for you to mix in. Let's say a couple of good scoops. Right there. And we certainly don't want to forget about this avocado. It's a really good looking avocado. Come on. Right there. I would serve this with maybe a dollop of sour cream. You could also use some extra salsa if you'd like. With the nice shaped pieces here. Mine I don't care about, but everyone else's. Just as a little bit of a presentation thing. Of that sort of skill I am sadly lacking in, but I'm trying to fake it. I'll just place that there. I've got some lime wedges. I'll place these on top. And, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Southwestern chicken rice bowl. I really hope this is something that you're going to enjoy as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you once again for joining us here at Eating Plebian. This Southwestern chicken rice bowl, presented here. It's kind of a fusion of all sorts of different things, but I just had a little pinch off, and it is really fantastic. I hope you enjoy this recipe. Tell me in the comments if you've made it, and tell me how it worked out for you. Do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe buttons in the video, because it helps me immeasurably in getting my content out there for this brand new channel. It's not just there as some sort of analytical functional thing. It helps. All right, so get your family together, eat a meal around the table, find out what's going on in each other's lives, stay together, and have a good night.